Hello, everybody. Happy snow day. We've got one more lesson to get through before we get to our EQAO review uh, on Wednesday. So today is January the 17th, and you can find a copy of this lesson in the Spiral 3 Topic 2 folder. Today we're talking about intersection points. So we're going to start off with what is an intersection point. It's the point where two lines cross. So in all of our intersection point questions, we're going to be looking at two different linear relationships and finding some information about where those two lines cross so that we can interpret something about a story typically. So I've taken two questions from previous EQAOs today. So the first one is movie night, and it says there are two payment options for downloading movies from a website. Option A is to pay $30 for a membership and $2 per movie downloaded. Option B is shown on the grid below. So we can see here that they've graphed the total cost on the y-axis or the dependent axis, and it depends on the number of movies. So number of movies is on the x-axis at the bottom, or our independent axis. And here I can see that option B is actually a direct variation because it goes through the point 0, 0, or the origin. Option A, I can tell from this story, is not a direct variation because there is a one-time membership fee. So there is an initial cost of $30 to join the membership club. There is another fee, $2 per movie, and that, as soon as I see that dollars per, I'm reminded of rate of change, and this is a rate of change. It depends on how many movies that I purchase. So this is always going to be a variable amount. So it's my rate of change or my slope. Now, if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, it actually tells me what they want me to figure out. It says determine under which conditions a person should select option A, and under which conditions a person should select option B. So there's two different things they want me to tell them about. When should I use option A, and when should I use option B? And it says justify your answer. So justify your answer means explain and give reasons. So I do need to show some math work before I just come up with my answer. Since they've already given me a graph for option B, I think that the easiest solution here would be to add option A to the same grid, and then I can compare the lines a little bit more easily. So option A has a $30 initial fee. So I'm going to go up to $30 on the y-axis, and it's right there between 28 and 32 is my $30 initial fee. And then from there, I'm going to use the rate of change or the slope of $2 for one movie. So that means I'm going to rise $2 and run one movie. And I can keep continuing that pattern, rise $2, run one movie. And I can see where my line is going to go. So if I want to be really exact, I'm going to put the points all the way across until I cross the line. And then I can join those those dots. I've chosen a dotted line here because of the fact that I don't think you could purchase half of a movie. I think they're going to charge you either for a full movie or not at all. So this is my option A line. Now the question asks me, when should I use option A and when should I use option B? Now typically in a question involving money, I want to spend less money whenever possible. So because money, the total cost, goes up the vertical axis, I want my line to be lower vertically. So I can see here that option B is below option A or cheaper than option A, anywhere between 0 movies and 10 movies. And then after that point of 10 movies where the two lines cross, option A becomes the cheaper option. So I'm going to write that up in my sentence. So the first thing that they asked me about is when should a person select option A? And I can see from the graph that option A is the cheaper one if they're going to download more than 10 movies, right? The second part of the question asks me, when should they pick option B? And that was if they were to purchase or download less than 10 movies. Now, the question asked me to justify my answer, so I'm just going to look over it and make sure that I have explained all of my thinking. Now, the major part of my thinking here is breaking down option A into an initial fee and a rate of change, and then adding it to the grid. So I have shown a lot of my work there. The one thing that maybe I haven't made clear is that I know that they cost the same for 10 movies. And at that point, for 10 movies, I can see it on my grid here, they both cost $50. So I might just say that just to be sure that I have said enough. And then I'm going to move on to the next question. The next question is about two tutors. It comes from a different year's EQAO. And it says Tiana and Liam both charge for tutoring. So that's both of their part-time jobs. And it says that information about Liam's total charge for tutoring is shown on the grid below. So I can see here that I'm comparing the hours that he spends tutoring along the x-axis, or the independent axis, and then up the vertical axis, I've got the total charge that he has for his customer. Again, Liam's linear relationship is a direct variation because it goes through 0, 0, and then it is a straight line. Underneath the grid, it says Tiana's total charge is made up of a base fee of $40, so I know that that's going to be my y-intercept. It's my base fee. And then she charges $10 per hour. That's going to be my slope, or my rate of change. The question goes on to say that they both start a tutoring session at the same time one day, and they both spend the same amount of time tutoring. If Tiana and Liam's charges were the same, how many hours did they each spend tutoring? So I know that their charge was the same and the number of hours that they spent was also the same. So I'm looking definitely for the intersection point on the graph. So I'm going to add Tiana's line to the grid. I know that her y-intercept is $40, so I'll put a point there, and then I'll use my slope to continue the line. It's $10 for every 1 hour. So I'm going to go up $10 and over 1 hour and add a point. And I can just continue that pattern, up $10 and over 1 hour across the grid. Then I can use my line tool or my ruler to connect those points. And I can add Tiana's name so that I know who is who on the graph. Now I'm looking for the point where they both tutor for the same amount of time and charge the same amount of money. So the point that I am looking for is where the two lines cross, and I can see that that's at 4 hours, and they will both be charging $80. So I'm showing my work on the graph here before I answer the question so that they can see my thinking and I'm justifying my answer. And then I'll write it up in a sentence. So Tiana and Liam both spent 4 hours tutoring, and they charged $80. For your homework tonight, take a look at page 349, number 1, 2, just C and D, 7, 9, and 11. And I want you to try to check your work using the Desmos app on your iPad. You will get to use your own iPad on the EQAO, and you will be able to use the Desmos app. So practice today, play around with that. Good luck.